As you all probably know by now, there's a serious situation going on that like everyone in the world should be paying attention to right now. Um, I didn't hear about it until after I had made lunch and cleaned the kitchen. That's when I found out about it. And so I've been literally watching live updates ever since I found out what was going on, praying, and just like trying to keep myself in a peaceful state because I've had some high anxiety over this. I'm currently watching live news coverage right now. Tel Aviv had seen some more missiles not too long ago, a third or fourth wave now. And we don't know if it's going to continue, what's going to happen next. I'm just keeping an eye on this because this is serious. And after the wonderful day I had, as you can see, I got my Regency style tea party hat, and I was really, really happy with it, so I wore it for quite a while today. I may wear it again tomorrow with the Regency dress that I received, because I also received my Regency dress, and I might just dress up tomorrow just because I want to. And I also got my Japanese fan in the mail as well today. So I really like this tea party hat. I wanted it to be pink, but it's fine. The red is actually nicer in some ways. I like that kind of red. So I'm just watching the live coverage, and they're showing like emergency personnel in Israel trying to like save people from a building that collapsed from one of the debris that fell from the missiles, and they're looking for survivors and people who have been injured. They're trying to take care of the ones that were injured in the blast.
A lot of images on our screen. Let's getting this in. Paramedics are rushing to a site where a missile from Iran hit an area within Israel on Saturday. This is Rishon LeZion. That's what the Associated Press is telling us. So this is an active scene. Not sure if there are any people injured, if there are any casualties as a result of this.
So I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
They are saying that one person was killed in the attack and 20 were injured. 3 of them in bad condition. I'll say 2 of them in bad condition, because probably one of them is the person who was later reported killed.
What are you hearing from family and friends, contacts that live in Israel? What is it like living there in the past 24 hours?
Wow.
I've contacted a lot of people in Israel. It's a strange situation because on the one hand, the country is very, very accustomed to the type of emergencies that we're seeing. Most houses, not most, a lot of houses have their own bomb shelter. Each building, most buildings have their own bomb shelter. And if those that don't have a bomb shelter, there's a regional bomb shelter. Everyone knows where their bomb shelter is. People are accustomed to running to bomb shelters the amount of people, again, the entire country, about 8 to 10 million people that are being forced into bond shelters by now, already, with the repeated air raid sirens, is something that the country is not accustomed to. Because even though on occasion there was rocket fire, even on October 7th, 4,000 rockets were fired over Soviet within the first 12 hours of the attack from Gaza. But at the same time, the amount of rockets that did that in fact paralyze the entire country and get through air defenses, already the attacks from Iran have surpassed that. So, to a large extent, the people are less somewhat accustomed to that, but it's also already starting to shake people up to say, okay, but how long is this going to last? Because usually there's these types of things and then the country just goes on, but now the country can't really go on. If it's okay, just going to mention Gaza, I'm going to jump also to that point for a second, because something that I think is being forgotten is that meanwhile, alongside all this, the war in Gaza is still going on. And very understandably, that is not part of the main news cycle right now. But there are a couple of things that are noteworthy with regards to what's happened in Gaza in the last 24 to 48 hours. One of those things is the fact that it was reported several days ago that there's possibly going to be some advances in a deal between Israel and Hamas. That's been forgotten. The sides are clearly not negotiating right now, and any advances that might have been made, the sides are not even meeting at this point. So that's one development.
Sorry guys, I'm watching this live coverage here.
In the last 24 hours in northern Gaza, but mostly by airstrikes, because one of the things that Israel has done, and I'm quite surprised that it said so publicly, is that it is pulling soldiers out of Gaza right now in order to redeploy them in Israel as a result of the escalation with Iran. So Israel has, for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, been building up all of its forces in Gaza for this massive push. Gideon's chariots we've been talking about for weeks. Now all of a sudden it's pulling the soldiers out of Gaza, redeploying them in the West Bank and other places, which means that the Air Force is actually carrying out again more airstrikes in Gaza at the expense of the ground forces that were advancing. And the last thing I have to say, again, a development that went under the radar when the attacks in Iran were launched, the IDF ordered the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation that was distributing millions of food packages into the Gaza Strip for the last several weeks. The last several weeks by now, they ordered them the last 24 hours to close down. Did not give an explanation. According to some reports, it was because Israel didn't know this would be a major Iran retaliation right away. Didn't want to have soldiers who were busy protecting the distribution centers. But there's no indication that they won't be allowed to open the next day on the morning hours of the 14th of Saturday in Israel and Iran. And that's very important because the situation in Iran was getting catastrophic situations. It was in some of the remaining of the Humanitarian Foundation. But while the world is continuing now on Israel and Iran, if the foundation is not allowed to reopen the distribution centers in a couple of days, we're ready to see how it's developing in Gaza again already. That's going to be about that in the next 3 minutes.
Well, always generous with his time. A lot to talk about. We are going to be checking in soon, I have a feeling. Alon has his own YouTube channel. If you want to see his YouTube updates, you can give him a follow on his personal YouTube channel. The Encyclopedic Alon Burstein joining us. Good to see you. Thanks for talking with us, especially last night and today. I know it's been a lot. We'll be talking soon.
Thank you. Have a good and calm night.
Yes. We have a lot to look at, live image-wise. We've been trying to show like a revolving door of all the different vantage points we have. Haven't seen a whole lot of activity in the sky. This is Tel Aviv. This is Haifa, northern Israel. Jerusalem, also Jerusalem. And then we have this image showing the scene where, as Alon said, it appears at least one person has reportedly died. Around 20 injured possibly. We are seeing at least one person being ushered away in an ambulance as we speak. It is time for us to slide away for a brief commercial. Our coverage from Israel continuing in
Anyway, guys, I've been keeping an eye on this for hours now. It's pretty scary. I don't know what this means overall, but I just know that this isn't good. And I'll be checking on like all the other places I usually look, like Facebook and places for updates and whatnot.
We're going to play out some of his remarks right now. He did speak on this attack, why they carried out this attack. He gives some insight into some of the decision making, some of what their intelligence has gathered about Iran's nuclear program. Let's listen into Netanyahu. We're going to keep in boxes on your screen, by the way, some of the live vantage points coming from the region, including a live look at Haifa and this live look at Tel Aviv as well. Let's listen.
Wow.
Any action, any missile interceptions, anything in the skies above Tel Aviv or Haifa or Jerusalem, we will break out of Netanyahu's remarks and we'll bring you some live coverage of that as it happens. In the meantime, here's the Prime Minister.
Targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before. Steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. nuclear pain, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine. Imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. When that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear weapon to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small state. It calls America the great state. And this is why for decades, it's led billions in the chance of death to Israel and death to America. Today, Israel is responding to those genocidal calls with action and with a call of our own. Long live Israel and long live America. Our action will help make the world a much safer place. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in confronting Iran's nuclear weapons. He has made clear time and again that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapons. Today, it is clear that Iran is just buying time. It refuses to agree to this basic requirement of peaceful nations. That is why we have no choice but to act, and act now. The hardest decision any leader has to make is to thwart a danger before it is fully materialized. Nearly a century ago, facing the Nazis, a generation of leaders failed to act in time. They were paralyzed by the horrors of World War I. They were determined to avoid war at all costs, and they got the worst war ever. They adopted the policy of appeasement. They closed their eyes and ears to all the warning signs. That failure to act resulted in World War II, the deadliest war in history. It claimed the lives of 60 million, including 6 million Jews, a third of my people. After that war, the Jewish people and the Jewish state vowed never again. Well, never again is now. Today, Israel has shown that we have learned the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them. As the Bible teaches us, when someone comes to kill you, rise and act first. This is exactly what Israel has done today. We have risen like lions to defend ourselves. Over 3,000 years ago, Moses gave the people of Israel a message that has steeled their resolve ever since. Be strong and courageous, he said. Today, our strong and courageous soldiers and people stand together to defend ourselves against those who seek our destruction. And by defending ourselves, we defend many others, and we roll back murderous tyranny. Generations from now, history will record that our generation stood its ground protected in time and secured our common future. May God bless Israel. May God bless the forces of civilization everywhere.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaking on strikes in Iran. Live from Tel Aviv. I'm Austin Buckle. Thank you all for watching along. It is time for us to move away for a quick commercial break. We're going to hear what the UN Emergency Security Council meeting brought us today. We heard from both Israel and Iran, as well as other nation states in the region. By the way, a live look in Israel. There's some just watching one hand news be right away. We're actually alone is that we have one death as a result of the strike.
I'm trying to find any updates I can on social media.
Okay, so let's right away for a quick commercial break. Our coverage from Israel continuing in a moment.
Well, it looks like it's all escalating. So I'll tell you what is going on. Iran's retaliation Operation True Promise 3 on June 13th, 14th. Iran responded to Operation True Promise 3, launching over 150 ballistic missiles and 100 plus drones toward Israel. Strikes hit urban centers including Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. One Israeli civilian was killed and dozens injured, with 90 plus wounded overall. Israel, with help from U.S. forces, intercepted most incoming threats. Some penetrated defenses, causing damage to residential and military structures. Iran claimed to have significantly struck IDF command centers, including IDF headquarters, though Israel gave limited confirmation. Wider context and reactions. This marks the most significant military exchange between the two nations in decades. International actors, including the UN, EU, US, are calling for restraint. Global markets, oil and gold, have reacted sharply. domestic tensions. Iran has declared national emergency and pulled out of upcoming nuclear talks. Israel has mobilized reservists and canceled public events such as the Pride Parade. Former U.S. President Trump publicly urged Iran toward a nuclear deal before there is nothing left and praised Israel's action, though the current U.S. administration and military presence are primarily in a defensive posture. What's next? Both sides are preparing for further strikes. Iran has pledged to continue attacks on Israeli and U.S. interests in the region. Global diplomatic efforts are intensifying. Emergency UN Security Council meetings are being convened, with calls for de-escalation from leaders in Europe, the Middle East, and beyond. The fate of Iran's nuclear capabilities and broader regional stability is now hanging in the balance. Wow. So wow, UN Security Council meets for emergency session right now. What are they going to do? The UN Security Council is meeting for an emergency session right now. What are they going to do? Can we turn on the AC again? It's getting quite hot in here. Apparently, Iran has threatened to hit military bases and infrastructure of the U.S., like embassies and whatnot, in retaliation to their help with defending Israel. Yeah. And Trump had said that if they did that, they would regret it. They would regret it and all hell would break loose.
They will be annihilated.
It's just escalating. And this was the fear, you know? And apparently gold and oil have sharply responded, and apparently they have skyrocketed, and it's going to cause a huge economic issue. Because they can't ship anything out of Iran right now. They're in the middle of a war. So all the countries that rely on Iran for oil have to pause now and wait for shipments to be able to go through again once the fighting calms down. This is ridiculous. And my question still remains, what can the UN do other than just, complain? What is the UN going to do? They're all convening, and the only thing they're going to say is, we need to stop this war right now. Okay, you've been saying that for 3 years. No, 2 years. 2 years. 1 year. 1 year, almost 2 years. You've been saying that for a year and a half. You've been saying it. And nothing's happened because all you do is talk. What are you going to do, UN? What are you going to do? You got kicked out of frickin' Israel because of your terrorist organization. What are you going to do? Honestly, they're just mouthpieces. Oy. I wonder if there's any news on the UN council meeting or whatever the hell they're talking about. Let's see. CNN. Okay. Wow. Do you hear it? Do you hear it, guys? I couldn't even imagine living in a place where that's happening. That would be absolutely terrifying. Yeah. Holy. Yeah. This is somebody's raw footage from their balcony. Wow. Yeah. This person was right under it. Holy crap. I mean, it's cool that the Iron Dome got most of it, but it's sad that some of them still got through. And the US was helping as much as they could. Did you hear what Mark Carney had said about this? He reaffirms that Israel has the right to defend itself. That's all he said. That's it. He's deflecting quite a bit. You know? I bet Canada will be at the UN Council meetings demanding that Israel stop. Not even once saying Iran should stop. How long? Oh, they're 2 minutes late. They're 2 minutes late. You do realize that they don't know what time it is because they didn't have their phone with them. Well, they're too scared to do that. You should know that by now. Oh. This is just overwhelming. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to be watching a sermon for the rest of the evening because I really need to, like, you know, get some Jesus into me. I'm, like, terrified about what's going on, and I just need to get my mind off of it for a little while. My back hurts from all the stress and scariness I've been feeling.
With pure crystalline vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, needed for sound teeth and bones and good steady growth. Pet milk is a safe milk for babies, free from harmful germs, always uniformly rich, always easy to digest, with every feeding exactly the same. No wonder parents of pet milk babies say they're so lucky to have such a good, happy baby. So feed your baby the pet milk way. No other milk supplies more nourishment at lower cost. Pet milk, the first food for millions of sturdy, happy babies.
Wow. I'm watching one of the messages I haven't watched before. It's called The Breast Milk of Babylon on Revelations of Jesus Christ YouTube channel.
It's an extraordinary story. A little girl, neglected, rejected, abandoned by her parents. For comfort, she snuggles up in farmyard kennels with the dogs. That becomes her home. They become her family for the next 6 years. At first, this looks like some kind of strange hoax. Ukrainian girl, Oksana Malaya, running, jumping, eating and barking, just like a dog. But this is no fraud. Oksana's behaviour is the result of the most cruel childhood neglect.
Wow.
All babies are different.
Hey, you guys came home pretty good on time. Like,
Yeah, you wanna know how we came home on time? It's because Isla had a flight.
good. Yeah, Similac made Logan sick. He used to projectile puke that I had problems with milk production in the beginning of postpartum. What is it called? Postpartum, when after you have the baby? Anyway, I had a production problem and I was waiting for the supply to come in. So I was supplementing with Forma to shape and mold. To shape and mold into what? Pay attention to what is said in this next video.
Formula does not come close to the amazing liquid gold that your body produces. Puny breast milk contains all the vitamins, minerals, and living material that your baby needs. Breast milk is alive, and formula is a non-living substance.
Because I don't
Breast
want you
milk
to.
is alive. Your breast milk changes from meal to meal, and day to day as your little one requires. Formula, on the other hand, stays the same. Your breast milk changes from meal to meal, and day to day as your little one requires. Formula, on the other hand, stays the same.
I had to for 9 years with Boost.
The living components of breast milk stop the growth of viruses and bacteria. Breast milk contains powerful anti-infectives. So powerful, in fact, that it has been used to heal leg ulcers and is used to help treat cancer patients. Without the food that your baby is intended to receive, they are at much higher risk of many issues such as ear infections, gut problems, breathing issues, allergic reactions, and many more. Breast milk is digested much easier than formula, and therefore a baby on formula has a higher risk of constipation, acid reflux, and colic symptoms. Man-made iron fortification is added to formula that is not easily used by a baby's body. This form of iron often causes anemia and intestinal bleeding. Formula-fed babies are at higher risk of SIDS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, type 1 and 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, and obesity.
Let us expose Satan's strategy to dry up the land flowing with rivers of milk. Please read words on the screen so you can understand how diabolical this formulated plan to dry up the rivers of breast milk really was. During decades, Nestle was boycotted all over the world. The reason was its aggressive advertising campaign of the bottle feeding in developing countries. It led to death of the infants. Wow. The baby formula was invented in 1867 and was widely popular in Western countries. But in the 1960s, the formula sales went down. Nestle and other companies turned to Asia, Africa, and South America. They've sent representatives in nurse uniforms to hospitals and houses of young mothers. The promoters gave samples for free. And instructed women on how to prepare the product. They also gave presents to doctors. It was expected that the doctors would advise to use it instead of breastfeeding. But once a woman stops breastfeeding, her milk dries up. So they became dependent on the formula. Its price was too high. So the women began to water down the milk, which lowered its nutritional value. Some of them added 3 times more water than it was suggested. Only 1 in 4 women mixed the milk as it was recommended. The other problem was the lack of clean water. Oh Lord. The women took water from rivers to mix the formula. So their children got diarrhea, which could lead to death. Oh. Also, in poor families, the bottles were not sterilized. Nestle and other baby formula companies use the confidence trick. The mothers were convinced that they were not able to produce milk that would be good enough for their babies. At that time, scientists found that breastfeeding was healthier for infants. After the investigation was conducted, a boycott against Nestle had started. Over 20 countries had joined the boycott since 1977. The goal was to make Nestle stop promoting infant formulas in developing countries.
In 1978, a United States Senate investigation in the Senator Edward Kennedy's chairmanship was called to look into the marketing practices of the baby milk industry. Nestle was one of the key witnesses.
Would you agree with me that your product should not be used where there is impure water? Yes or no? We give all instructions. Just answer. What is your position? We can go with that. Well, as I understand what you say is where there's impure water, it should not be used. Yes. Where the people are so poor that they're not going to realistically be able to continue to purchase that, which is going to mean that they're going to dilute it to a point, which is going to endanger the health, that it should not be used. Yes. Now, then my final question is what do you do, or what do you feel is your corporate responsibility to find out the extent of the use of your product in those circumstances in the developing part of the world? Do you feel that you have any responsibility?
We can't have that responsibility, sir. May I make a reference to... can't have that responsibility? No.
Alright guys, I'll check you guys tomorrow. I'm going to finish this sermon off and then head off to bed myself. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love y'all. Later for now. Good night.